here today with Rabbi Abie Ingber, and we're going to be talking with him about the celebration of Hanukkah and the Jewish faith.
Delight to be here.
Rabbi, could you tell us about the tradition of Hanukkah and its origins?
Hanukkah is actually perhaps one of the best freedom festivals and miracle festivals that one could invent, and a good piece of it really was invented. It begins with a very significant moment in the life of the Jewish people in 165 BCE. Judah Maccabee, his brothers, in relationship to his father and a band of other zealots, decide that they're going to return the temple in Jerusalem away from Seleucid Greek control, pagan idols and sacrifices, and return it back to the freedom of religion that the Jewish community had always expressed in the land of Israel. That band of guerrillas are successful in 165, and Hasmonean kings are placed on the throne. This entire enterprise doesn't last very long, but the Jewish community seems to be very much taken in with the rededication of the temple festival, not coincidentally, because it happens at the time of winter solstice, and any festival of lights and rededication seems appropriate. And so Hanukkah assumes a proportion of a non-festival, so much so that it's not even mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. It takes Josephus and the Book of Maccabees and the Apocrypha to record the festival. The rabbis are so nonplussed by it that they literally say, "What the hell is Hanukkah?" And then they invent a little story that adds a miracle to it of a cruise of oil that should have lasted for one day in the rededication of the temple menorah or the temple candelabrum. And instead, a miracle occurs, and that oil lasts for 8 days. Fast forward, Western culture, observance of Christmas and other festivals at the end of December, and Hanukkah assumes even larger proportions. Jews in America, Jews in the Western world, totally love it. The menorah itself is a 7-branched candelabrum, a little bit like what the menorah might have been in the temple in Jerusalem. And this particular one came from the Street of Jews in Beirut, Lebanon, buried in the ground, and then resurfacing again, and a very dear friend acquired this for me. And so the original menorah that was rededicated and rekindled in the temple had 7 branches. Because it probably was a celebration, albeit late, of an early fall festival, the festival of Sukkot or Tabernacles. That festival is an 8-day festival, and so the menorah became what we know today, and this is just a small version of it, and that is 8 candles that are lit. First day 1 candle is lit, second day 2, until on the 8th day all 8 candles are lit, and a little service candle that is used to light the other candles. Of course, candles were not prominent in the ancient Near East. As a matter of fact, they hadn't been invented yet, and oil was used. And this Hanukkah lamp or Hanukkah menorah has the 8 holes for Hanukkah, and of course it's just an oil lamp. So central oil here, oil wicks would have extended from each of these holes, and this is probably close to about 2,000 years old. What's significant, of course, is as the land of Israel is established and we have new Judaica coming from the land of Israel, here is a very early oil menorah coming, probably fashioned in about 1949 or 1950. It has a oil wick that would have come with this little service holder, and then the candles would have been lit throughout. And this says in Hebrew, Nes Chanukah, the miracle of Hanukkah.
Well, why don't we finish up our conversation by talking about when Hanukkah is celebrated this year, because it varies a little bit year to year, and then if there's anything that you can tell us that might be happening on Xavier's campus as it relates to Hanukkah.
Hanukkah, of course, takes place on the same day every year, but it's the same day every year on the Jewish lunar calendar, which is the 25th day of the month of Kislev. But since most people who might be seeing this view and would like to think of me as an expert, probably don't live their lives on the lunar calendar. This year, the first candle will be lit on December 1st, and on that evening at 6 p.m., we'll be lighting the first Hanukkah candle in the Hof Dining Hall. And I'm really very excited about it. It's the day that Hof had already scheduled to trim the tree, and so we'll also be lighting the first Hanukkah candle. Good combination of events this year.
Well, considering that the office you represent is the Office for Interfaith Community Engagement, it's a perfect way to celebrate.
Thank you.